Greetings ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mangs and today I am making a very special video for you guys about an interview that recently surfaced regarding the new Fire Emblem game. Now you can naturally go and click the link in the video description if you want to go read the interview yourself, but it's a little bit text heavy, so I figured that some of you guys would appreciate it if I made a video where I read the interview for you guys. Now this interview features three very important people. I'm just gonna go ahead and apologize for my bad pronunciation of Japanese names. The first guy is the Director of Intelligence Systems. He's called Kohei Maeda, and I'll just be calling him Maeda in this interview. The second guy is the Producer of Intelligence Systems, and he is named Masahiro Higuchi. I'll just call him Higuchi in this interview. And the third guy is the Director of Nintendo, Yokata Kenki. I'll just be referring to him as Yokata. So, with that out of the way, we are going to be jumping into the first question. This game features diverging paths and multiple storylines, and so on that topic, please explain the concept behind the game. Yokata answers, Fire Emblem, Hoshido and Nohr, was always a game about the player having to maneuver their units in the midst of two massive countries locked in a mutual struggle. For this game, the main story changing as a result of the main character's choices alone was an interesting idea that Nintendo and Intelligence Systems got excited about during the planning stages. Also, the ability to customize a character as one likes has become a staple of the series, and so we thought to make My Units the main character this time. They have an affinity with the characters of the story. Maeda follows up. The customization of My Unit has been improved since Awakening, and so one can edit down to even more specific looks. Higuchi continues. A fundamental question about the Fire Emblem series has always been trying to satisfy the existing fans and those who have yet to play it. We took steps during the planning stages while considering this. In the previous game, things like casual mode were there to help adjust the difficulty level as a way to tackle that problem, but there were not many other things that helped. This game has a split story with two paths that the player can take based on their decision, as well as being able to look forward to a game where there are various difficulty modes and ways to play. With this in mind, it became two separate games. Question number 2. What are the specific differences between the two? Maeda answers. In Hoshido, one can freely engage in battles and level up their units, and the victory conditions are very simple. On the other hand, Nohr has limited chances to gain experience and limited resources. The strategy revolves around what is the best way to raise these units. The victory conditions in battles vary, such as chapters with limited turns, or to attack/defend an objective, etc. It is much deeper tactically. Higuchi then follows up. While we want players to experience both sides in the end, they should start with the package that appeals more to them, but if they are considering what the other side is like as they play, it would make us very happy. Then we come to the third question. So, you can't keep fighting to gradually become stronger, huh? And Maeda answers, that's right. That's why Nohr is a Fire Emblem with limitations that we thought one could look forward to. Do not worry, however, as there are various things to look forward to in both versions. Higuchi follows up. If you satisfy the conditions for attack stance and defense stance, you will execute it with 100% certainty. The same goes for the enemy. If you use attack stance, your firepower increases, but it's not the best way to go if taking a concentrated attack from the enemy. When it looks like the enemy will attack, on that turn it is best to use the defensive stance to endure it. You will eventually want to use the attack stance or defense stance when the situation best calls for it. Question number 4. What would be the motivation for choosing Nohr? Maeda answers. While players will go about it differently, the Nohr side is not necessarily overwhelmingly difficult. Players can pick normal or casual modes, so the first-time players can still enjoy it too. Yokata then follows up. The volume of chapters and story in Hoshido and Nohr, and the third scenario are all the length of Awakening. All are downloadable too, so we aim to give a considerable amount of content. Question number 5. Please explain the details of the newly announced Phoenix mode. Higuchi answers. From the start, until Radiant Dawn, we built up the view that those games are the ideal Fire Emblem style. But with that sort of game, one new problem was born. We reached the logical conclusion that it was always difficult for newcomers to pick up. We wanted to make a game that the new fans could enjoy too. We wanted to make it even bigger than Awakening, with this concept as the focus first and foremost. That was the beginning of the game's developments. Maeda follows up. A system like Phoenix Mode, which lets fallen characters revive the very next turn, I thought to be a system ill-fitting of Fire Emblem. However, it was deemed necessary for players who may think, this is very interesting, but it seems much too difficult for me. But with this mode, maybe even I can play it. With these players in mind, this mode was born. Question number 6. Does choosing Phoenix Mode cause any limitations such as being unable to view the best ending? Higuchi answers. Just because a player chooses Phoenix Mode does not mean that they will miss out on any scenes or items. However, if you change from Classic Mode to Casual or Phoenix Mode, that data will be unable to change back. For those proficient in the series, who want the sense of accomplishment in completing the new game on Classic, please play on Classic without changing all the way to the end. Question number 7. The story splits into two paths along the way in this game. Is the story up until Chapter 6 the same then? Maeda answers. It is the same until then. You will be able to begin challenging maps and racing characters from Chapter 7 onwards in Hoshido. Higuchi follows up. There is a system sorta like the arena in place, but different this time around. Rather than earning experience, you fight to earn a different sort of components. Please wait for follow-up information on this in the future. Question number 8. Do characters who become allies also appear as enemies on the other path? Maeda answers, yes. They appear as quite formidable enemies even. While we had done the idea of fighting a friend turned foe in the series before, it was not implemented on a grand scale, and this game was developed on a grand scale with branching storylines. We believe the system was implemented quite smoothly this time. Question number 9. Who are your allies on the third scenario where you side with neither kingdom? Yokota answers, that is something to look forward to, and not something that will be addressed in this interview. LOL. Higuchi then follows up. Though the third scenario does not require Hoshido or Nohr to be completed in order to enjoy, we hope that people hold enough interest to at least clear the game once on any path. Also, the game has the distinct feature of having plenty of contrivances. Yokata then continues, that's right. For those who worry over save data, please rest easy. 3 save files come with each downloaded additional episode for a total of 9 places for your chapter saves. Question number 10. Please explain Dragon Pulse and whether it is offensive or defensive. Yokata answers. Dragon Pulse is a special power of dragons that serves as a map gimmick. It is put to use by the main character and Aqua, as well as 8 different characters between the 2 kingdoms. It changes the maps in various ways, such as transforming deserts to grassy plains, or drawing water from the sea. Maeda then follows up. Depending on the timing of Dragon Pulse, it can provide a serious advantage or disadvantage. We hope players implement this in their various strategies. Also, it is not just the player who uses the power of dragons. The enemy will have units who are able to utilize this too, in their own strategies. Question number 11. What other information can you give players regarding information on the game? Higuchi answers. In this game, we bring back a mechanic that has not been used since Gaiden on the Famicom. The weapons do not have any limit in uses. You can use them as many times as you would like. However, there are variations in ability/performance of each weapon. Rather than conserving weapons, the strategy will revolve around those weapons which are equipped. Question number 12. Why did you decide to get rid of weapon durability? Maeda answers. A huge issue we thought about was ways that would be best to reduce stress, and let new users who started with Awakening and this game to feel less stress. We figured that strategies involving which weapons to preserve and to use on which map was intimidating for beginners. We often heard of opinions regarding people preserving their best weapons so long that by the end they never even used them. As a result, we thought to eliminate weapon durability in favor of weapons that have abilities instead. Now one can freely enjoy using weapons without having to worry about which to select. Question number 13. Is there a concept of weapon weights? Maeda answers, no. There are factors that prevent follow-up attacks, but it is not a simple matter of strong weapons are slower. On a related note, weapons like the javelin, which are capable of indirect attacks, are no longer capable of having follow-up attacks. Question number 14. We had a question regarding character design. It seems Mr. Kosaki Yusuke from Awakening returns the design for this game, huh? Maeda answers, the moment we began development and considered a character designer, everybody unanimously decided Mr. Kosaki is perfect. We made Mr. Kosaki an offer immediately. Higuchi then follows up. This time, there are more characters than there were in Awakening, so we were a little worried whether Mr. Kosaki would take up the offer or not. We were very happy to hear that he had generously taken up the offer. Question number 15. Please explain the details as to the setting of this game. Maeda answers, it is different than previous Fire Emblem games in a completely different setting, though Awakening players will be able to smile at certain familiar components in place. Question number 16. What kind of countries are the kingdoms of Hoshido and Nohr? Maeda answers, Hoshido is a country with a Japanese-style culture. Nohr is a country that fits more to the Fire Emblem series up until now, with a very Western feel to it. With two different stories this time around, we think it will be interesting for players to see the country's cultural differences in each path. Yokata then continues, while the Nohr have a more Western feel, they are a country with a darker ambience to them, with a castle built in the center of a giant hole. It does not give a complete sense of a Western culture exactly. Question number 17. What is the current state of the world? Maeda answers, the Hoshido are a country with peaceful principles and are built on order. Conversely, the Nohr have poor weather conditions that lead to poor crop yields and are in disorder. King Garon of the Kingdom of Nohr aims to expand his influence and orders his children to invade the Kingdom of Hoshido. Yokota follows up. The siblings keep their various personal feelings hidden and fight for the sake of the Nohr. The Hoshido royal family aim to repel the invasion. The main character, the Avatar, finds themselves facing an inevitable grave decision. Question number 18. There is talk that the Nohr scenario is about seeking to reform them? Maeda answers, because we want people to experience this by playing it, we will not talk much about it. But that is a summary of things to come, yes. Question number 19. Do the classes that appear in each version differ? Maeda answers, because of the cultural differences, different classes are attached to the different games, and so the classes of units that can become allied differ. In Nohr, there are Cavaliers, the same class that appears in previous entries in the series along with many others from before. In Hoshido, there are Samurai, and other Japanese-style classes prepared. The weapons that can be used also differ by game. For example, in Nohr, there is the usual sword, but in Hoshido, the katana appears, which has slightly different basic abilities. Yokota follows up. They were already shown in the promotional movie, but in this game, there are not just Pegasus Knights, but a class named Pegasus Warrior. It was a rule that all Pegasus Knights in the previous entries be female, but both male and female units can class change to Pegasus Warriors in this game. Also, when Pegasus Warriors advance to a higher level, they become flying units that are able to use bows. Question number 20. Lastly, please explain one defining point of the new Fire Emblem game that is most appealing. Higuchi answers, April the 20th of this year was the Fire Emblem series' 25th anniversary. The contents of the game are suitable for a 25th year celebration. Please give it a try. Yokota then says, we used all the experience in developing Awakening to the fullest to bring a great number of new challenges this time. While it is a difficult simulation RPG, there are modes and content with a system anyone can enjoy. We hope you freely pick up and play the game. It would make us very happy. Maeda then says, We offer 2 different packages, both for fans of the series and newcomers to look forward to. In the end, this game is the largest we have made to date in terms of sheer volume. Please enjoy this epic game. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of this interview. I found it pretty interesting, and I hope that you guys enjoy hearing me reading it to you. Personally, it seems to me like they are really afraid of new players being turned away by the game's difficulty. They even say straight out that they thought Phoenix mode was a bad idea, but that they had to do something to make the game more appealing. Personally, I don't think it's so much the difficulty that turns players away from Fire Emblem, but perhaps more its strategic depth. But that may just be me. At any rate, I am certainly looking forward to seeing how this game will unfold, and I'll stay posted for more news. There will be another video coming out soon about some other information that recently surfaced, so stay tuned for that. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and a comment, and hit the subscribe button for more videos in the future. As always, my name has been Mangs, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.